NYSE, the Nasdaq snagging this one, and it looks like they pulled it off.
And wondering if it all just comes down to getting that ticker coin. Let's ask the man behind that, as Romaine was just mentioning, of course, making that listing on the Nasdaq Exchange. We have President Nelson Griggs. Also with us, our Bloomberg Wall Street contributor, Shonali Bostic. Shonali, take it away.
Thank you, Taylor. Thank you, Nelson, for joining us.
We
have to start here with the price action, right? Because we had gone way past 380, now we're back down to 330. Can you bring us behind the curtain a little bit and explain what's going on here?
Well, yeah, I think if you look at a direct listing, it is a pure auction. There's not the traditional role that the advisors play stabilizing a stock, but this was clearly a very successful direct listing. A lot of investor enthusiasm. It was a watershed day for Coinbase and for crypto in general. So I think when you look at the price action, there really is just a tremendous amount of enthusiasm for Coinbase and this new asset class.
Why, Nelson, Romaine here, why did Coinbase end up with Nasdaq instead of NYSE?
We compete vigorously for every listing. We tell a very detailed life cycle story here where we do help clients think through anywhere from leading up to a direct listing, how we support private transactions, how we work with companies for their investor relations. We have a whole business that does that. So we've got a tremendous track record right now of winning 80% of operating companies this year and last year. Of the billion raises this year, companies raising $1 billion, we're going to have 70% of them for the first 4 months of the year. So, every listing is competitive, and we're very happy to have Coinbase on NASDAQ.
It's interesting that the direct listing came at a time when we'd really all been talking about SPACs and shunning the traditional IPO market. Where then does this put direct listings, if back in the spotlight?
Well, I think if you are a company today, you clearly have different paths to go public, and it's probably the most opportunities you've had to consider public markets in, let's say the last 20, 30 years. So I think direct listings, although there have only been a handful, we are talking to more companies now than ever about that process. It is still not yet anywhere near replacing the IPO or even as big as the SPAC market, but I do think we'll see more companies go direct listing if they do not need to raise capital, if they have the brand such as Coinbase to do a direct listing. But the traditional IPO market is still very, very strong. There's a tremendous amount, as you know, SPAC capital looking for combination companies. So I would say it's a terrific time for companies to try to tap the public markets or even raise private capital.
Nelson, speaking of SPACs, there's been a lot of concern in recent days about change in regulation around SPACs, maybe the pipeline being a little backed up. Do we expect the market to cool significantly?
Well, if you'll talk to the ecosystem around SPACs, whether it's private companies, the sponsors, the advisors, everyone feels that this is a product that really did have tremendous momentum. There is a bit of a pause now, but I think we all feel that it is here to stay. Likely we'll see some changes coming, but it really does give companies that optionality to consider a different path to go public. And there's some amazing sponsors out there that bring a lot of experience, a lot of track record, and advice for companies. And we do see, again, this being a long-term SPAC market being very robust. But there could be pauses here and there for sure.
With regard to sort of attracting business and I guess maintaining the relationships here, Nelson, we saw this proposal, of course, coming out of you guys for a push for more diverse boards here. I'm wondering what the reception has been to that proposal so far and sort of how you plan to move forward with that.
Yeah, well, the proposal has inspired a lot of discussion, a lot of debate, and I think that in its own right is a great thing. We've seen some very positive responses. We certainly have some questions that we've addressed about our role. We do feel it is our role to talk about governance and be part of this discussion. So where it is now, it's really in the SEC's hands, and they have a period of time now to decide if that rule will become effective or not. And we'll know probably in the next handful of months how that turns out.
We talk about that as you think about your future and think about where you guys are going from here. Along those lines, why not invest in Coinbase? How are you thinking about investments in the future?
I'm sorry, how is NASDAQ thinking about investments?
Yes.
Well, we invest certainly our own product lines. NASDAQ is a large public company ourselves with very diverse product lines across listings, across corporate services, trading, our market technology business. You've seen us do recent acquisitions to go more into the financial crime space. So we really think about our role at the center of capital markets on a global basis and how we do help economies grow through the capital markets, and that's really our role. So when we think about investments and tracks that we go down, they're really squarely in those areas.
But what about crypto, Nelson? Because, you see the Intercontinental Exchange have its exposure to Bakkt. You see Coinbase, flirting with $100 billion in valuation. Again, bigger than most exchanges out there. Did it make you think differently about crypto and what you guys could do there?
We think about crypto all the time, and it is a growing asset class, and we do think we'll have some role. I think Coinbase is a very direct center track what they are doing, but where Nasdaq is thinking about listings, ETFs, as well as we do provide technology to crypto exchanges. We do have a role in crypto, and we watch the space very, very closely.